subscribe if you already haven't subscribed. It's a new year, guys. A new year. Day one. You know what that means, right? That means we got 12 months to make a unification fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. We got 12 whole months. So, let's start fresh. Let's make this fight happen with Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Alright? Let's make it happen on April. So that if Deontay Wilder beats Anthony Joshua, then they'll have a rematch for like September. And then this year we'll have, two back-to-back fights against Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, right? And then for once and for all, we could just all sit here and be like, all right, we know definitely who's the best heavyweight in the planet, right? We're just waiting on Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder to fight. So, Deontay Wilder, I beg you, Deontay Wilder, you have an opportunity to face Anthony Joshua April 13th. He offered you the opportunity. Let Tyson Fury face somebody else. Let him take, a little break, fighting some other guy. You challenge Mr. Anthony Joshua and see if you can beat him. Win or lose, you're going to gain respect from the fans. Win or lose. Because if you keep ducking Anthony Joshua, the fans are just going to keep mocking you, and they're going to keep saying that you're a coward, you're a ducker, you're the one prolonging this fight. But if you fought Anthony Joshua on April, like I said, win or lose, you will get a lot of respect from the fans. I'm telling you, man. I know how boxing fans are. Boxing fans will talk shit about a fighter. But if the guy at least fights the dude, they will show the guy respect. Alright? I mean, I've done this before. I mean, listen. I make fun of guys like Dominic Breazeale. I've made fun of him. I don't think he's a good fighter. But I respect Dominic Breazeale because he's fought, he showed a lot of heart. He's fought a lot of top dudes. So I got to respect Dominic Breazeale. Alright? And that's what I'm trying to tell Wilder is, win or lose, you're going to get some respect if you face Anthony Joshua, right? Win or lose. Like I said, when it comes to Wilder, his disadvantage over Anthony Joshua is the age, right? He's about 4 years older than Anthony Joshua, so he really needs to stop wasting time, and he really needs to be rushing to face Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, I remember he said it himself in an article I read, saying that the only one who really needs to be chasing to have this to make this fight happen is really Deontay Wilder because of his age. He's not necessarily a young heavyweight, which is true. And I told you guys, I don't want AJ and Wilder to fight by the year 2020, 2021, because if they do, if AJ beats Wilder, he's not going to get the credit. I'm telling you, they're going to say Deontay Wilder was over the hill. AJ waited till Deontay Wilder was past his prime, when it wasn't the case. It was the fact that these two guys couldn't make a fight happen, or Deontay Wilder was ducking the guy, which I believe is the case. And then they're going to say, and then they're not going to give AJ the credit. They're going to say, okay, he became undisputed, but he beat a washed up Deontay Wilder. Right? But if he fought Deontay Wilder right now and beat him, then maybe they'll give him credit. Although, like I said, they probably still won't give him credit. Because when it comes to Anthony Joshua, he has a lot of haters. And when you have a lot of haters, they try and make up any excuse as to why he won. Right? To all the Deontay Wilder fans who are rooting for Deontay Wilder to beat Anthony Joshua, who really want and really hope that Deontay Wilder beats Anthony Joshua, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few of them. They will give Anthony Joshua his props. But when it comes to some of these hardcore, fanatical boxing fans who are obsessed with Deontay Wilder, these guys are not going to be giving Anthony Joshua props. Guys like, Scott Guilfoyle, that freaking writer who's like obsessed with Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder can never do no wrong when it comes to his articles, right? Like, I guarantee you Scott Guilfoyle will write a crappy article talking about how, this is why Anthony Joshua beat Deontay Wilder. He had these advantages. Like, if Anthony Joshua picked the ring size, and he made the ring size small or large, they would use that as an excuse. Oh, AJ AJ made the ring smaller. Therefore, Deontay Wilder couldn't use his legs. He couldn't move. Right? If Anthony Joshua chose the gloves, and let's say he didn't choose puncher's gloves, and then let's say AJ beat Deontay Wilder, they'll say, oh, the only reason Deontay Wilder couldn't knock out AJ was because the gloves he was using. AJ picked those soft padded gloves. You know what? Those extra pads. He couldn't knock him out. He was cheating when it came to Deontay Wilder. They'll use that as an excuse. If Deontay Wilder, caught a flu 2 weeks before the fight, they'll say, hey, AJ fought Deontay Wilder at 60%. Deontay Wilder went into that fight with a flu. And don't even, you better, if Deontay Wilder broke his hand in the middle of that fight, that would be the number one excuse they'll use. Deontay Wilder, he lost because he broke his hand. How many times have you heard that excuse? Deontay Wilder breaks his hand and then they say that's the only reason he couldn't do this. That's the only reason he couldn't do that. He tries to say that he broke his hand against... It's like Deontay Wilder, he always has to break his hand, right? And this is why he couldn't do this, right? He broke his hand against Bermane Stiverne. He broke his hand against Tyson Fury. He broke his hand against Luis Ortiz. He broke his hand against Chris Arreola. He's always breaking his goddamn hand, right? So hopefully he doesn't break his hand, because that's going to be the number one excuse. We got 12 months. 12 months is more than enough time to figure out, to sit down and make this fight happen. This is the year that I want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. I don't want to be waiting when Deontay Wilder's up there in age, because they're not going to give him credit, man. Like I said, don't make this a Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao situation, where two guys waited for 5 years, and by the time they fought, they were has-beens. They were passed over the hill. They had a few losses, Manny Pacquiao, of course. They were looking bad in a few fights. I don't like that. I don't like when fighters face each other after they look vulnerable, after they look bad in a few fights. Like, let's say they fight in 2 years, and let's say they're still undefeated, but by then, Joshua was looking bad in a few fights. He was just looking older, and Deontay Wilder was looking piss poor in a few fights. And because then if they fight, they're gonna use that as an excuse. Oh, look, Deontay Wilder was deteriorating. He was deteriorating. He was looking bad in his few fights. He was already deteriorating even before he fought Anthony Joshua. They'll use that as an excuse. This is why I want them to fight now while they're still in their best. They're still at their best. But like I said, Deontay Wilder doesn't have that much time left anymore. All right, he's a reflex fighter. He's a guy who depends on his athleticism to basically try and leap out of the way. And I'm telling you, man, he depends not just on his punching power, but on his reflexes, his athleticism. Okay, and age is gonna make him, slow down when it comes to athleticism, slow down when it comes to reflexes. And I already told you guys, the minute that disappears, the minute his reflexes and his athleticism disappears, that's when Deontay Wilder's over, because he won't have the quickness to get away from the punches like he normally tries to get away with his quickness. And once that's gone, it's gonna be harder for him to evade, and it's gonna be easier for his opponents to get at him. Because even now, while he still has his ability to evade punches or to use his foot speed to try and get away from punches, or his athleticism to get away from punches, even like that, even while he's still in his prime, he's already getting caught several times. Like, look at how easy it was for Fury to just snap his head back, to tag him and shit. So like I said, imagine when Wilder slows down. If he waits 2 more years, I'm telling you, man, these things will catch up to Wilder. It's gonna be harder for him to evade these punches. His best opportunity to beat Anthony Joshua is to face him while he still has the ability to use his foot speed and shit. All right, let's not keep waiting, man. That's all I have to say, guys. I'm out. It's very frustrating, man.